Welcome, everybody. Another live edition of From the Point by Your Favorite Point, brought to you by Sprite, the clear favorite.
We wanted to welcome our next guest. He's an 8-time NBA All-Star. He's a member of the NBA 75 team and the reigning NBA three-point contest champion. Let's give it up for Damian Lillard. Dame, thank you for pulling up to From the Point, man. We're so excited to have you.
I appreciate y'all having me, bro.
So we ended off one of our last episodes with Bleacher Report talking about All-Star Weekend, and I know Trey had given his all-time NBA three-point contest list. I think, Trey, you had on here, you had Steph, Ray Allen, Reggie, Chris Mullin, and some others. Dame, all-time in history, what's your all-time three-point contest roster?
What is it? How many people is it? 8?
I think it's up to 8. Yeah.
8. Steph, Clay, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. Somebody said Reggie Miller. Like, who? We got basketball fans in here. Y'all just what we doing? I said Steph, Clay, Ray, Reggie, Peja Stojakovic.
He was on my list. He was on my list.
I'm gonna go.
People were killing me. I didn't have Bird on there. My fault. Like,
I'm gonna go Larry Bird. I'm gonna go maybe Mark Price.
Okay.
Oklahoma.
And the last one I'm gonna go.
Dang, Dollar.
I'm gonna go myself.
Yeah.
I ain't know we could do ourselves.
Of course.
I'm gonna put myself in there. Man.
Of course. Well, again, thank you so much for pulling up to the show. You guys go way back, actually. Talk about y'all's relationship and how y'all got to know each other. And
Oh, I mean, I was always a fan of his. I was a mutual relationship. This guy named David. Yeah, look.
that's crazy.
That was Dame's actually rookie year. Somebody, a mutual friend, David Vanderpool, who I know Dame knows really well, was coaching them at the time, and my dad knew who he was, and so I was able to go down there. I was able to meet some of my favorite players. So being able to meet Dame and talk to him for a second was really cool back then. So that's when I got to meet him. He probably didn't know who I was, but that's when I met Dame for sure.
That's the crazy thing is I knew who he was at that time because my backcourt mate when I was in college, my freshman year in college, is from Oklahoma.
Kellen.
And he was telling me about him, Kellen McCoy. He was telling me about him, about the AAU program and whatever. And at this game, he actually told me, like, I think he's going to be at y'all game. And he came to that game, too. So, like, we met. And then a short time later, when he was in college, I'm kind of watching college basketball. And I'm like, man, he killing. And Kel, like, yeah, this is who I was telling you about. That's him. So I kind of remembered, like, okay, this the same kid.
Right.
And then I remember, like, people started asking me about, I think Colin Sexton was a freshman that same year. And they was like, who the best point guard? And I'm like, I don't know, Colin Sexton. And I remember Trey was like, dang, bro, like, you gonna say he the best?
You don't even remember
And
his
I was
name?
like, damn, I ain't even put too much thought into it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he was the best point guard. So I was like, my bad, bro. But
Yeah, no, that's
it's a funny story.
yeah, no, for sure. So growing up, was the game always easy to you? Like, we know you can score from all levels. We know you can get to the rim, get people involved. Like, was the game always easy to you, or was there a time that it ever came together for you?
I think it's always come easy to me because I always understood the game well. And I think how you learn how to play the game, it matters with how it's going to come to you. And my dad was always like, you got to be able to shoot the ball. A lot of people going to be athletic, they're going to be fast, all these things, but a lot of people don't make it because they can't shoot. Mm-hmm. So shooting was like a major thing for me. And then just making the right play, watching the game, being around the game. Like, my dad was always on me about that. So I think when you had, like, the right intentions, somebody open, you pass the ball. If you're not having a good game, you still see the game the same way. And I think when you play that way and you can shoot and you like quick and strong and you got all these different tools, the game naturally comes easy because of those things. So I think it always has. Even when I was younger, like people would be like, man, you just, you be making this stuff look easy. But to me, I felt like I was moving fast and doing all this different stuff. But when I think about the game, I always go into a game knowing like what I'm gonna be able to do, because it does come pretty easy.
And as two guys who, Dame, you've been outspoken to this about your work ethic. Trey, obviously, I already know that. So, but y'all's talk about the importance of understanding from a young age how important that work ethic is in propelling you guys to, where you guys are at today.
I think it's extremely important. And everybody gonna say, man, I work hard, my work ethic. Everybody gonna talk the talk, but I think when this is what you do in middle school, high school, college, and if you're fortunate enough to make it to the NBA, you're going to have some highs and lows. Like, you're going to have some moments where you get criticized, you get questioned. There's going to be some stuff that come along with it, and the only thing you really going to have is your work ethic. Because for me, I'm not confident just because I think I'm the greatest thing ever. I'm confident because I know what I put into the game. Even when it's not going well for me, since I was a kid, when people ain't around. And before people knew I was Dame, when I was going to Weber State and, begging to get into Adidas camps when I was in college. Like, nobody really knew me, but I was doing the same work. So my confidence comes from knowing that, like, I put a lot into this. And when the tough times come, when I'm struggling, you get the criticism, you get people saying this or saying that. I got something real to fall back on, and I know I put it in for real. So I mean, everybody gonna say it, but when you see people go away or people just fold and they never bounce back, I think it's because they say they got this work ethic and they put all this time in, but really that ain't the case.
For sure. Trey, what you think?
No, I mean, he hit the nail on the head. Like, when you put the work in, that's where you get the confidence from. It's from the work that you put in. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dame, but I feel like that's where a lot of people get me misconcepted. Like, I'm a person that likes to lead by actions. Like, and I may not be the loudest person in the room, but I feel like that's just how I've always grew up. Like, I've always been the type of guy that leads by action because I know, like, that's what matters. But I put the work in, and I knew that the actions would follow. And so I think that's for me what it is. And from a distance watching Dame, like, nobody's going to say he's the loudest person in the room, but what he does on the court, it speaks volumes. And I think it's just because of the work that we put in, and what you do in the dark will ultimately come to the light. So that's the most important thing.
Y'all had a little bit of different college experiences, but extremely important ones, in the fact that before y'all came out to the draft, you both were extremely high draft picks and had very, very successful seasons. Dame, at Weber State, what was your overall experience like, and how do you think that experience prepared you for the league?
I think my overall experience was a great experience because I had to go through so many different stages of being a college player. So when I got on campus, I came in, and like I said earlier, I was playing with Kellen McCoy, and he was the point guard, but because he was 5'7". So I was a point guard, but I could shoot, and I was bigger than him, so I was playing shooting guard next to him. Yeah. But he just shot every ball. Like, he was leading the conference in scoring.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, I was taught, like, I was a scorer, but I would be making all the right plays. So I was coming off the bench for like 5 games to start my freshman year, and then they put me in the starting lineup and they switched us. I was the point guard, and they put him at the 2. And then we go 15-1 conference. He was conference MVP. We both was like first team. And then he was a senior, so he left the next year. The next year I was MVP. And then the following year I broke my foot. So, like, I came into that year like, I'm about to go crazy and I'm going to try to leave. My family was going through a lot, and I break my foot 9 games into the year. So when I broke my foot, you know, my school, they trying to scramble so I can try to get this year back. So we add a game to our schedule, do all this stuff. I have surgery. I go through that whole process in the cast, in the boot, rehab, all of that stuff. And I come back and they get my year back. So I come back for my 4th year, but I was a junior still. Yep. But when I came back, I had already, like, I stayed at school all summer. I did the rehab. I was training. Like, I was in shape. A couple people pulled out of the Adidas camp late, so I got, like, a late invite. I went to camp. That was, like, my first time hooping off the injury. I hadn't played much. I had a good camp, and then the next season I led the country in scoring. And toward the end of the year, they was like, you know, he might be late first, early second, and went to the combine, participated the first day, and that was their first time getting to see me. And it was like the vertical. I jumped to 40, 3/4 course sprint, the catch and shoot threes I wasn't missing. They really got to see it in front of them, you know what I'm saying? We played ones, all the point guards played one-on-one. We did all that stuff, and by the end of the day, they was like, he gonna be in the lottery. Like, it happened like that.
Man. Yeah.
And the first day ended, so, like, going to a small school, I didn't know about, like, mock drafts and all of that stuff, because I was never ranked. I never knew about all that stuff. So after the first day, I get on Twitter, and all the players at the combine, they searching their names. So I'm like, oh, this how you get the information about what people saying. Yeah. So I search my name, and I see them all saying it. I'm seeing them talking about me. So my agent is like, all right, Dame, sit out the second day. And I'm like, all right. All right, I'm gonna sit.
Sure. But
me and my agent don't know each other like that at this point. Like, I'm just entering the draft, so I'm calling my dad, like, he talking about sit out. Like, I'm gonna play again tomorrow. Like, I might be able to go up again. So the next day come, I played again on the second day. And I had another good day, and that's how I ended up jumping into, like, top 10 for real. And I ended up going 6. So
dang.
For me, it was like a crazy process. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know I was gonna be that high. I didn't believe it even when I was in the green room. I'm like, man, ain't no way I'm about to get picked this high. Like, I'm gonna be the dude sitting here to the end. Like,
No.
But it happened. So.
Well, that's a blessing. I mean, you played a lot of years in Portland. You're a Portland legend. Is there a year that you think back and you're like, damn, we would have maybe been a little bit more healthy, maybe would have been maybe a higher seed here or there, like we would have been champions? Like, is there a team you had that, I mean, because you played with some really good players, LaMarcus Aldridge and certain guys, like, is there ever a year that you think about like that?
It's a couple moments. I remember the team that we had with LaMarcus, my second year we won 54 games, but that was like the first time winning a playoff series in like 15 years. And then I remember after that year, I was like, all right, we got something. It was me. Wes was our shooting guard, 6'5", 3-and-D, strong, competitive. We had Nick Batum at the 3. He was a playmaker, shooter, defender, slasher. L.A. at the 4. Robin Lopez at the 5. He was the best offensive rebounder in the league at the time. Right hand, left hand, jump hook. He was a good free throw shooter. We had Chris Kaman coming off the bench. We had Mo Williams coming off the bench. We had Darrell Wright. CJ was on our bench.
Dang.
Alan Crabb, Will Barton. Like, we had a squad.
Yeah.
And we came out to start the year. We was number 1 in the West. And this is when, like, OKC had KD, Russ, all of them dudes. The Spurs was coming off the championship.
Tim Duncan and them.
Yeah. Like, Indiana had Paul George, David West, Roy Hibbert. Like, it was a bunch of good teams. And I remember that year we came out. Bron was in Miami, and we was smoking everybody. Like, we was beating everybody, number 1 in the West. And then West tore his Achilles, L.A. tore his thumb, and I just remember our season just fell apart toward the end. So that year I was like, I thought we was about to win it. So that year kind of fell apart, and then the next time was 2019. We got to the conference finals, and Golden State swept us. But we got there, like, Nurk broke his leg that year. Enes Kanter was fasting. Like, couldn't barely breathe. 'Cause he wasn't eating.
I remember that.
I mean, it was
That was crazy.
We had dudes hurt. Rodney Hood was hurt.
And people don't. And sorry to cut you off, but people don't understand like how much it takes to just even get to the conference finals. Like how much got to go your
tough,
way.
bro.
Like
you need some luck to.
yeah,
it's tough.
Every champion has had a little bit of luck in it. Like I don't care who it is. Like whether it's on their team or who they're going against. Like they've had some luck.
Yeah, you need some help. You're always gonna need some help.
But
I just remember us getting there, and that was our first time playing that far into the playoffs. And I just remember, like, we was having letdown after letdown. We was winning every game, give up a lead in the fourth quarter and lose. And I just remember after every game just being tired. Like, man, it's hard to play this deep into the playoffs and stay sharp and stay engaged. But those are the two times where I was like, man, those was the opportunities right there. And then, like, even Golden State beating us, like, KD was hurt for most of the series. It was like a golden opportunity, but it just didn't happen.
Yep. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but a little bit of luck. How important, and I think as a fan at least, 'cause I'm not in y'all's shoes, but as a fan sometimes I think it's overlooked how important staying healthy is. And I think that, again, it is often overlooked. And so for y'all's perspective, what do you do to make sure that you're not only ready for the 82 games, but potentially the postseason after? And then if an injury does happen, how do you guys, as leaders of y'all's teams, stay locked in, make sure everybody's still ready to play, all that?
Well, I mean, for me, he's played more years than me, but for me, like, knock on wood, I haven't had any major injuries yet. I just had a little rolling ankles here and there. That's why if you see me with thick ankle braces when I play, that's why they're there. I mean, us being smaller guards, you got to take care of your body even that much more. Like, I mean, I don't know about him, but I value rest a lot. Like, I value staying off my feet. I value, like, making sure, like, after games, like, I really get off my feet, or if I need a massage to get my flush and just get recovered quick. Like, being a smaller guard or being a guard in general, we're playing in a big man's league, a big man's game, so we got to take care of our bodies even extra if we want to be on the court and play at a high level for our team, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm huge on rest, recovery, doing all those things, but I think it's, how you prepare. You got to put a lot into this being a smaller guard. You're going to take some bumps. It's a fast-paced game. For us specifically, we at the top of scouting reports. Like, that's one thing people don't understand is you're going to have – a lot of people have big nights and big games, but, like, we got to do it every night. And they coming to take us out. They ain't giving us no free space or free opportunity. So – and that's hard on your body, so you got to be prepared. And for me, I'm like I believe in just living the right way too. That's taking care of yourself. Because when you're not living right and you doing little sneaky stuff, I feel like that weighs on you because you know better than everybody else knows. So like that's a part of your health. But I think it goes back to that. Topic about having some luck. Like, being able to stay healthy is some luck because how fast this game is, the crazy things that could happen just off getting a rebound or you just trying to blow by somebody, anything could happen. So you need some luck with that. But it's also important as the leader of a team is you got to stay connected to your teammates because it might be somebody at the end of the bench that's talented enough, but it's somebody that's making $52 million playing ahead of them that they gonna play. And you might be on a rookie contract, even though you could help us.
Right.
You got to stay connected to guys like that because you never know when there's going to be the next man up and the team is going to need them. So I think stuff like that is extremely important when you talk about, like, health. It matters the kind of relationships that you have to keep, dudes at the end of the bench encouraged because they might get called on at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good transition to that, not only staying ready for the game, but most importantly is that, like you said, you guys are called upon to average a lot of points, get a lot of shots up. A lot of people, and we've talked about this before, say that our game, the NBA that we know today, is nobody plays defense or it's easier to score. We've seen a bunch of guys get 60 and 70 this year. What's your opinion on that? Of the people that comment and say that there's no defense and, Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I mean, maybe it is easier to score because the pace is faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you having more possessions and you shooting more threes and the defense is, limited more, so you having more fouls, you're going to score more points.
Obviously.
Like, you're going to score more points. And I think something that people don't look at a lot, like if it's the talent in the game today is out of this world, Like, go watch an All-Star game from, 30 years ago. You're going to see some of our greatest players, and then you fast forward to now and you see, like, the size, the athleticism, the skill. Like, you got dudes 7 feet. Like, look at Kevin Durant. This dude's 7 feet. He's as fast as I am. He can handle the ball. He's shooting over the top of people. He can shoot a three. He can post up. Like, the game is just different. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course you're going to see that, but I don't agree with, man, this era don't play defense. Like, we can't put our hands on each other the way you used to be able to. Guys can shoot from further out now. Everybody can shoot, Like, you ain't just walking out there stopping somebody. You know what I mean? If the league average of scoring points is as high as it is, who's actually stopping anybody? And it's more so because of the ability in the league than anything. Like,
Right.
you can have a great defensive possession 10 times in a game and get scored on 10 times if it's the right guy.
Yeah.
I've done it to people. Like,
Facts.
it's like, man, that's good D, but I just feel good tonight. And they
Yeah.
going in. Like, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
You're one of the first people that really started the spinning the three-point line out. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you and Steph are really the first two guys to do that. Like, so who did you model your game after growing up? Or who did you look up to? Or did you just say, fuck it, I'm just going to change, be myself and start it my own way? And, like,
I mean, I was always a fan of, like, because like I said earlier, I always been like an underdog. So I never looked, the only, like, star like that I used to be like, man, it was Allen Iverson. And I liked him because he reminded me of somebody from my neighborhood. Like, he had tattoos, he had braids, he had big-ass earrings in.
Yeah.
He was tall tees and
Yep.
do-rags. Like, he just had neighborhood swag about him. So
Yeah.
I felt like I could relate to him. But the players that I really would watch was, like, Gilbert Arenas, Baron Davis,
BD.
Nick Van Exel, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Like, them dudes like that, I felt like I can do what they can do. Like, them quick pull-up jumpers and that quick twitch and burst by somebody, stop and pull up and get to the rim. Like, those the kind of dudes. Steve Francis. The ones that everybody else knew was nice, but they wasn't getting the same
Yeah.
recognition or the same level of stardom. Steph Marbury, them type dudes. Those are the kind of dudes that I really appreciated, like, my whole life.
For sure. Man, y'all both make it look so effortless shooting from the logo, though. Like, I don't understand. Because, like, I would consider myself to be, like, a fairly strong dude. Like, nah, I can't shoot. Like, I can't even, like, try and consistently make a shot like that. No way. But, like, how do you guys prepare to be able to shoot shots like that? Because the average person is not aware of, like, how hard of a shot that is. And some of y'all are making it at clips, like, that would be considered great three-point percentage just in general. So,
Well, I'll just say one thing. I'll give it to Dame. I was talking to Shaq last week, and he was asking me the same question. And I'm like, it's touch. Like, you can't, it don't matter how strong you are. Like, you got to be able to.
It's not strength.
It's not a strength thing. Like, and you do got to be strong enough to be able to shoot that far, but it's not all strength. It's a little bit of touch with it.
Yeah,
So.
it's not strength. Like, I was always small, so I would just shoot from further out. Like, so I've always been able to shoot from far before I was physically strong. I just developed the ability to do it. But I think it's more of, like, your shooting motion. It's like, your motion is more legs, and more than anything is just confidence. You gotta believe in that. Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, it's a lot of dudes in the league that could shoot the shot, you know what I mean? But they probably not gonna believe, like, it's going in for real, and they wouldn't take it at any time of the game if they, having a cold shooting night. Like, it's certain people, like,
Some people got irrational confidence.
Yeah. They always think I'm about to get hot. That's how I think. I always think I'm about to get hot.
Right.
You know? That's a fact.
I think that mentality is super important too, because similarly to this year's situation, Trey obviously was named as an injury replacement, but in 2017 you averaged 27 and didn't make the All-Star game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were kind of just like, man, I'm not going to be like anybody's pity vote. Like if I'm not in, I'm not in the game. Yeah. Man, what is that like? And like I said earlier, especially as a leader of a team, but a leader of your family, like always be confident, especially when, at times you get snubbed. You're not always going to be on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, especially I think I experienced that 3 times. One time I ended up being a replacement. The other 2 times it was just like I just didn't make it. And I think one year I averaged 27, the other year I might have averaged 26 or 28 or something. And my team was
good
in the race.
Right.
We was a good team. So when you had that happen, it's like, man, they playing me. That's your first thought is, man, they hating. You know what I mean? Like, that's your first thought is like they got something against me, especially when you younger. Like when I was younger, I used to be like, man, they, because that was my whole career. But I think what I've learned is just like when you look around, it's people who have like a body of work and have experienced the same things, over the course of their career. And it's like you get rewarded for being consistent. I don't think it's ever a real reason for it. You know what I mean? Like production is production. And you look at it like it's an all-star game. Like the people who produce the most and the people who are killing, that's what the All-Star game is for. Like the people who are winning, they get to go to the playoffs and they get to, contend.
Yeah.
That's what I've always saw it as. And everybody's trying to win, but you shouldn't be, eliminated for a guy that's getting 15 because he's on the best team in the league. I just don't think that's what the All-Star game has always been. It's turned into that now. But I think as a leader, when you experience stuff like that, I just think you got to remember what you represent, and the people watching you. Like, I got 3 kids, and my son, I want him to know, like, if it's good, if it's bad, you got to always be solid. You can't ever let something not going your way or something going your way change how your real behavior is. And that's what I take pride in. It's like, you got to be able to show people that you can be solid when shit don't go your way sometimes, because when it does go your way, you're going to be all happy and you're going to be acting a certain way, and they're going to remember how you acted when it didn't. So you want them to know, it's my time right now, stuff is going well, but when they look at how I acted when I didn't have it, they're going to respect it more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, like,
sure.
You look at what Trey doing, it's like every night he 30 and 10.
Yeah.
So you got the right to be like, how am I not an all-star? You know what I mean? Like, because of the voting, he could have been starting and I could have been in his position. You know what I mean? But like, that's just the way it goes. So I mean, you got to respect the game, but ultimately you got to make sure that your character is strong, whether it's your way or not your way.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna go how it go.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. I mean, that's how I've been thinking about it, man. That's the best way to think about it. Being a leader, you gotta take the highs with the lows. Like, we blessed to be where we at. So it's like, it's not always gonna be your way. So
throughout the season, there's always going to be adversity. Recently, there's been a coaching change in Milwaukee. Trey, you've had a couple midseason coaching changes. How has that experience been like for you in terms of, like you said, just staying solid? I know, like, there's a lot of people in your ear, I'm sure, all of that. Trey's experienced his fair share of this, but how you remain solid during that time?
I think you just gotta. It's easier for me because this is my 12th year in the league. Like, it's my first time being in a mid-season coaching change, but I think because of my experience in the league and a lot of the stuff that I have seen, I'm not moved too much by anything at this point. Anything that happened, I'd be like, okay, this was happening, and I'll be able to roll with it at this point. But I think it was it was already a transition for me being on a new team, playing next to a superstar, playing with somebody who has the ball in their hands a lot, that was already like my transition. That was already my, challenge that was in front of me. And then it was a first time head coach, and that didn't work out. Now we get another coach, and I think the fortunate thing is that it's an experienced coach who's won. He's coached stars. He's been around a long time. He played in this league, and he's a strong personality. You know what I mean? He's going to demand a lot from us, and he's going to hold us accountable. And I think when you have a change like this, it's important that you bring in the right type of personality that can be a leader of men, so that things can come together after that. And I think that's the situation that we're in.
What is some pros and cons about playing with someone like Giannis, playing with another superstar with you?
I think the pros are, you go out on the floor and it's easy to get lost in knowing he can dominate the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we get a rebound, the right play every time can be throw it ahead to him, because he's that unstoppable in transition. Throw it to him on the block, he's that dominant in an isolation situation. So, like, I think that's the pros of it. Is like, it's hard night in and night out in this league to, like, produce when teams coming after you. And to know that you got a luxury like that and you're going to have a great chance to win is a major pro. I think another one is, like, he's somebody that's, like, he can't help how competitive he is. Like, he really wants to dominate all the time. And that's not common. A lot of people want to do it sometimes and they don't feel good tonight. They might sit. Like, he don't sit. He want to play every night. He gonna be aggressive every night. He not gonna back out. He gonna go out there and attack over and over before he backs out.
Right.
And he's just a normal dude.
That's cool.
You see his kids every day. Him and his brother super tight. He's family dude. So I think those are the pros. I think what I would say is one of the cons is having to adjust to that. I wouldn't say there's cons to just being his teammate. I think, but the fact that you have to. I come from a situation where I was having the ball all the time. And now I have the ball in my hands, but it's an adjustment having to do it around. He has to change to doing it around me, and I got to change to doing it around him. That's where and I wouldn't even say that's a con as much as I would say that's where the challenge is. But I think anytime you can come to a team that's built to win it all, it's worth the challenge, because that's the puzzle that you gotta kind of piece together to be able to accomplish what we come to this league to accomplish.
That's the reason we play.
So, I mean, that's the only thing, is just figuring that part of it out. But I mean, it's nothing when you've done a lot as an individual and you've won a lot of games, but you haven't won it all. You come into these types of situations and you just open to figuring it out, even if it comes with some struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't had my best year, but I've been productive and we've won a lot. So it's like, how do we find that space of, like, all right, now let's take off so we do it at the right time and have a chance to win it all.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your opinions about ring culture? Because I think that oftentimes the media pushes unfairly at times too about, you got to be you got to have a ring to be a great.
Yeah.
You're a member of the NBA 75 team. Yeah. They say you one of the best 75 ever, and you're still in that pursuit.
I mean, it kind of bothers me, because not just because I don't have a ring, but I don't like how you see people try to diminish or take away from some of the greatest players ever's career because they didn't win. Some dudes played in the era with Michael Jordan. That's why they didn't win.
Was it anything else but that?
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
They played against Jordan.
Yeah.
They didn't win. Like, you got people that had to play in the era when Golden State was Golden State. Like, that's why people didn't win. I had to play them in the conference finals. And the year before that, I played them in the first round. The year before that, I played them in the second round. It's like, who knows? Maybe I would have had a chance for real at one of those points. But, I mean, sometimes that's how it go. But that doesn't take away from your body of work and what you put into it. But because I know that it's not gonna go away, like when I win a ring, I'm gonna join him. I'm gonna be like, he don't have a ring. Like, I'm gonna go to the other side because that's what it is. If I had to deal with it without having one, the day that I do get one, God willing, I'm going to the other side because it's crazy, man. I don't believe that though. I think it's a lot of great players that just, they just didn't have that luck. They didn't have that same opportunity, or situation to get it done.
Ice, what you think?
Nah, I mean, he said it right. Like, I mean, they don't want to see me win a ring. Like, they ain't gonna hear the last from me. Like, I mean, that's the thing. You have so much built up emotion that when you win that ring, like, people gonna hear about it. So that's how I feel. I just can't wait.
Like Charles Barkley, man, was cold. I don't think people realize it because of how often they talk about how he didn't win. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
for sure. I think one thing that you guys, along with your play style and all that, share in common is your passion for giving back, specifically in the communities that you're based in and also where you're from. Trey, congratulations on the YFAC opening on Monday. That's going to be awesome. For background, Trey, the Trae Young Family Foundation, they are in the process of opening how many courts is it in Norman?
8, 9.
It's a big facility, but it's going to be first of its kind in Norman, Oklahoma. So that's an incredible accomplishment for him and his family. But Dame, what has your philanthropic efforts been like in Portland, and also moving to a new city? I know that's super important for you. So I guess that's kind of a new challenge for you. Talk about that challenge of making sure your philanthropic footprint is set in Milwaukee.
We'd be sitting here all day. If I just kind of went over everything.
Sure.
I mean, because a lot of stuff that I've just done. Some stuff has been, a real initiative where, like, it's been planned and it's documented. And then it's been a lot of stuff that I just did because I care, you know what I mean? But a lot of the stuff that I dive into, man, I like to support people that really need it,
Absolutely.
Single-parent homes. I've worked with a lot of things like that, a lot of the underserved communities, struggling schools. I started an anti-bullying campaign. I still have a respect campaign, just encouraging kids to show up, work hard, and be kind in school. Schools with low graduation rates, low attendance rates. A lot goes on that doesn't get the attention that it deserves. So I try to do stuff to just bring awareness to it and also be a helping hand to things that don't get the attention that it needs, for people to survive and for people to have a better chance at life. So that's kind of what I do. I've done it in every city that I've been in. I started doing the Special Olympics when I was in college in Utah. And then I became a global ambassador for the Special Olympics when I got drafted, and I'm still it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. I've done that. A lot of stuff in Oakland, just where I'm from, because I know they need the resources, and I know I'm able to provide that. Even if it's not coming out of my pocket, I can get a hold of people that could make a difference. And those are the things that I try to do, man. And I like to do it in a way where I'm not getting credit, because I feel like if I come from any environment, or if I'm living in any type of space, and I'm in position to do something for people, that I should do it, because a lot of people don't get the opportunities that we've, been blessed to have. And, it's kind of our duty to look out for people like that. I think that's how you get favor. I think that's how, things continue to come your way, when you continue to just pay it forward and you continue to give back.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Well, I got one last question, just kind of off that topic. Like, as you finish your career out, 5, 10 more years, but however long you want to play.
I ain't playing 10. I'll tell you that right now. No, sir.
Whenever you done playing, as your kid gets older, what is one thing that you want, as your kids, obviously all of them, but your son, as he gets older, what do you want him to look back and as he sees videos and things you talked about as you played in your career? What is one thing you want him to remember you about?
I want my son and all my kids, I want them to look back and I want them to see how I carried my success. You know, I don't really care if I'm definitely going to brag about, like, how many All-Star games I played in, how many points I scored. You know, I'm going to brag about all that stuff to my kids regardless, but I want them to be able to look back at, you know, everything that was documented, who I was through my success, you know, making a lot of money, being famous, you know, having access to all of these things. It's very easy to get carried away and to lose your character, to lose your morals, to lose who you are. And I think one of my greatest accomplishments in my career is I haven't lost myself in my success at all. Obviously, you know, your life changed. You start to like different things, more expensive taste in certain things, and you like to travel and you like nice things. But I want them to be able to look back and see how I carried it and see how I was able to stay true and stay solid through all the opportunities to not be that way, you know, so they know, regardless of what they accomplish in life or who they think they are or how people treat them or if they put on a pedestal because they my kids or whatever, that they need to be humble and they need to be solid people. And what you have or who people think you are is not important, you know. So I hope that they look back and they see it, you know, and they recognize that so that they can, you know, that's a characteristic that they feel like they need to fall under because I did.
Absolutely. Last thing I got for you is, man, what you up to All-Star Weekend? I know you're in the three-point contest tomorrow. Obviously, the All-Star game's on Sunday, but man, you're running around Indianapolis. What you got this weekend?
This being my 8th one, man, each All-Star schedule lighter and lighter because I know how hectic it gets. So just this time around, I'm doing 3-point, playing in the game on Sunday, and just, you know, doing some stuff with my partners. Today we launching, as a lot of you guys know, the signature Dame time is like end of game stuff. So I finally found a partner that got on board. He's so watched. Dame time watch is coming out. You know, go get you one.
Yep.
Fire.
Oakley. You know, I got my shades coming out. You know, stop by Adidas. So I mean, I just got a lot of partner stuff going on.
Awesome.
And I'm just chilling until Sunday.
Man, that's dope, man. Dame, thanks so much for stopping by the show. Thank you for our presenting sponsor, Sprite, for that crisp lemon lime taste. It's a clear favorite. Guys, that's a wrap on From the Point Live. Thank you guys so much for being here in Indianapolis.
$1, bro.